Hey guys, Rob here with another video on my Saturn SD518 Inflatable 17-foot boat. Now, we've done a couple of videos already, one of which was on trailer setup and just the unboxing of the boat, and then the second was on a lot of comprehensive measurements on the boat. And I did say that the next video I was going to do was really going to be focused on customization, so that's what this video is really about. What I did to this boat to make it more comfortable for me and my family, and what I'm getting ready to do to it today. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with an overview of the stuff that I've done so far and how it's worked out, and then we'll zip over to some new stuff that I just purchased, just showed up today, and how we're going to assemble that to fit in the boat going forward. Alright guys, so as we know, these boats are not very comfortable with the standard aluminum bench seats that they come with. They're functional, but not the best. What I decided to do was put some, well, you can get Wise or North Cap, and there's a bunch of different brands, folding boat seats to put in here to make it a lot more comfortable. And then I also added a little custom cup holder that I built in the center there. Now, these have been working out absolutely fantastic, so much so that I bought another rig with 2 more seats to put in the back for me and another passenger back there. But what I wanted to talk about is what these really are. Now, Saturn and a couple of other companies sell these generic expanding frames that allow you to put these seats inside the boat. You typically have to buy 2 of them, apparently, and then somehow cut them and piece them together, they say, and there's some kind of how-to on the site, which, you know, I'm sure you could do. They're very generic little aluminum square frames, and they just sit right here on the floor, and then you have to get risers that attach to these things that the seats mount to. The problem with that is twofold. For starters, those little frames that Saturn sells, they're kind of expensive, and then you got to buy 2 of them. And they don't even come with the risers, so you still now have to buy risers to put, you know, on there to get the seat up to a height to where you could sit on it and then mount the seats to those. So by the time you spend that money, you know, it's more expensive than the rig I've got set up here. And secondly, I feel that the rig I have set up here is way more stable, and we're going to show you how that works right now. It's hard to see on the boat, so I have the latest one that I bought right here. This is also a Wise product. And it's just a generic boat seat, dual seat boat dealie here. They sell a single one, and they sell the double ones. The thing with the double ones is they're about 45 inches wide. And I wasn't sure if this was going to work, but my thought process was it's an inflatable boat. So if I could fit this in between the tubes, with the tubes, you know, way down on pressure, then inflate the boat to pressure with this in between the tubes, it would squeeze on both sides and hold this thing in there. As you can see, it tucks in low, and then the tube kind of comes up from the floor like this. It would kind of bellow into this and hold it really tight in place, way tighter than those other frames. And instead of just having a skinny pedestal, the whole thing is, you know, the seat is mounted to this whole rig, so it's way more stable, way more sturdy. Has these really nice rubber feet on the bottom here too, so it doesn't scratch up the aluminum floor. And although it is steel, it's got a really great powder coat on it. And I think with good maintenance and washing and hosing down and all that after every you know, use, it's gonna work out really well in the long run. Now, I've already been out on the water 3 times with this setup in my boat. And as you can see, I have the pressure down on the tubes right now just because it's in the garage at the moment. When I air this thing up, this thing is rock solid. It goes nowhere. It really doesn't. It is locked in there so firm. In all the chop and stuff that we've been going through in the intercoastal on the past few trips we've done, I mean, this thing gets banged around like crazy, but that seat does not budge. Another thing that I think helps is that I've left the bench seat in place right behind it, which is pulling the tubes together right behind the seats, also adding an extra level of stability, which I think helps. I mean, you don't need to have this in here, but I just feel like it really helps, you know, hold the tubes together tight, and it's a structural component of the boat, I think, at this point. I know I've seen people sitting on these boats, you know, all riding on the sides with no benches in them. I just feel like the benches were always kind of a structural component. So if this is pushing the tubes out a little bit, this is pulling it in between the two, pushing and pulling together under you know, high pressure. We're getting a really tight fit. But even with the tubes down on pressure, the tubes are at like no pressure in it. This thing doesn't go anywhere. No cricking, no creaking. So back here, just temporarily, I had an Ocean South pad that I had laying around that was brand new in the box, so I just, you know, zip tied it down into place so I would have something more comfortable to sit on than just the bench back here. But it's not really optimal. It doesn't give me any lumbar or back support, and it's kind of stuck in the position of where the bench is. I can't move it forward or back at all, where this is free floating. I can move it where I want and then inflate, and then it's where it's going to be. It's going nowhere from that point. Now obviously, with a tiller, I can't have two seats side by side. I can't do that. I need to have range of motion for the tiller handle so I can steer. So my thought process is to put one seat on one side there, and then mount a pad on the other side, and then do another cup holder, because that cup holder I made, I still need to clean it up a little bit around the edges there, but it works fantastic. And it gets used by everybody to the point where I don't have a place to put my cup or my GoPro or any of that stuff when I'm in the boat. So basically, you got a couple of different hole patterns here for different seats. Seats mount here, seats mount here. This is meant so if you have one of those pedestal style seats, you know, that I guess on the swivel. But instead, I took a piece of PVC pipe and I stick it down in there and I tighten the screw to hold it in place. And then what I got to come over here to show you this. I had to order these online. They're like for making PVC furniture. They're caps, right? And I'll show you the deal here. I can't read what it says. They're 1 1/4 though, is the application that I use. And I got these on Amazon. And basically these sit on top of the piece of PVC, like so. And then the little piece of wood that I made is screwed onto that with the 2 holes cut in it for the stainless steel cup holders, which I also got off Amazon. And they're nice. They were only like $10, and they got little drains in them and stuff. I got to clean the caulking off the bottom here, but it's a nice little rig. It doesn't go anywhere. It's locked in place really good, and it's height adjustable, but it works fantastically. So those are the seats. So what I'd like to do now is I am going to assemble these seats outside the boat. I have another couple of pair of seats here, and we're going to assemble them here, and then we'll cut to me putting it in the boat so you can see how I do that and what that operation looks like. All right guys, so here is the frame with the one seat on it. That way you can kind of see how it goes together. I do have swivels for these. The problem is when these swivel, these seats have like a sharp edge on this metal frame, and it goes into the tube, and that's no bueno. So I'm going to go ahead and keep them rigidly mounted. But as you can see, there's room where I can put another platform here with just a flat pad, so I'll still have room for my tiller to move. And then of course there's the hole for the cup holder that I'll go ahead and pop on there as well. It's a very nice arrangement, and for traveling and stuff, they fold down. There's a little lash there so you can, you know, secure it if you're going long distance. Of course, I have a boat cover that a canvas cover that I put over the entire boat to wrap it when we're traveling, you know, any distance. But we haven't done that yet. Up till now, it's just been cruising around locally. So, but it's nice. You don't have to worry about it bouncing around or coming loose. And it's a really nice setup, and it's just a great alternative to what else is out there. And it's way more solid, just way more solid in my opinion. The platform itself, the double, is I believe it was like $110, and then they have a single one that's like $50, I think. But the single one, the problem is it's nothing to lash. The idea of the two is it's being held in by the pressure of the tube. So you put a single down, you're going to have to lash it down to like the floor panels, and it's not going to be as sturdy. Like they do with casting decks, they'll put the adjustable cable tie down to the floor. I don't know. This seems way more practical and way better to me. But, you know, your opinions can vary, and you guys can do whatever you like. But this is how I'm running it. This is how I did it. And so far, so good. So the next step is to remove this now so that I can pop that bad boy in there, and we'll see how that looks. All right, guys. So here's the seat mounted in the boat now. And as you can see, it's just pushed in between the tubes. Nothing major here. Just sits right in there. And even with the tubes aired down quite a bit, you can see it's not going anywhere. That sucker is in there super, super tight. It's just a great option for you know, a seating option on an inflatable boat that's really rigid. Really rigid, not flopping around, not gonna bend, and it's not gonna break the bank. With the seats, with the brackets, 2 seats in a bracket, you're looking at $300. The cup holder, you know, like I said, the cup holders were 4 to a pack, they were $10. And then, you know, it's just wood, and I think I spent like maybe, I don't know, $10 on the little I threw it over there somewhere, the little PVC bracket that mounts that to that. And aside from that, it's really not a bad deal. You can, if you have room on an inflatable boat, if you're going with a boat that's maybe a little wider, like a C-Max, something like that, you can use the swivels, and there's quick releases that you can also use to take the seats on and off without tools. And that, I think it was an extra $50 for those if you wanted those as a package, but I really don't see the point. So with the seats being wrapped up now, let's talk about the bimini. The bimini we've already covered before. It's Ocean South, and it's a really high quality unit, and it has the height that allows me at 6'1" to stand up with a few inches to spare, even with the bag hanging from it, and be able to see everything really well. But how I mounted it to the boat, I haven't seen anybody do anything like this yet, and I might upgrade to a little bit fatter pipe just to make it a little more rigid down the road. But this is a 1-inch electrical conduit, so they sell those at Home Depot and Lowe's in gray, which is nice. It matches the boat. And I just did all my hardware and stuff and mounted it to the pipe here. So instead of like on my last boat, I just had this just zip tied to this area here, and it would just push down in the tubes a little bit, and then you had to kind of adjust your support beam here to be able to reach this one back here, or put it up too far, this one here, and then have your bimini's tilted forward. I decided to put it on this piece of PVC here because it allows me to set the top up the way it's meant to be set up, and at the same time I can shift it forward or back by simply just undoing the zip ties and putting new ones on. I can simply just scoot it forward, scoot it back, but this is the optimal position. It's perfect. I don't see any reason to move it. It's a 6-foot bimini. Gives us great coverage, but this just, it seems like it takes a lot of pressure off the, you know, the pressure points that would be on the tubes. You know, this thing pushing down and rocking back and forth in the wind just gives you a more steady platform. And like I said, I might upgrade to a little bit fatter one just to give it a little more, less bendiness. It's only bent now because, you know, you see with the thing folded now, it's pushing it out, but once it's up, it all sits very straight. Nav lights, these are really slick. Got these off Amazon. They were super cheap. They are rechargeable and come with 2 USB charging cables, which is really trick. Thought those were pretty cool. And I just attach them on both sides of the bimini, you know, the front beam and the rear beam for your anchor lights, and they work fantastic. They just go on with these little rubber holders, and they have not come off or come loose or any of that. My little VHF radio I got from Temu, which works fantastic actually. And I've written on the back all the important channels that I would need to get to that I have preset in there. This pad, I just have this sitting on here because I have to do some kind of pad over. I don't want to leave this empty. I want to do some kind of seating pad over here for another passenger, but I don't want to lose the range of motion from my tiller. Most of the time this seat will be empty, but I wanted the opportunity to have somebody be able to sit here if they wanted to. So I'm going to figure this out. This is just an old throwable I had, just trying to factor out what I want to do. Obviously, I'll put something nicer there. My first aid kit, some sunblock, the extra, you know, life vests usually just tuck under there, and I'll zip tie them. And of course, we got the JBL sound unit over there as well. The tiller handle. This has worked quite well for us. It's just a cheapo from Amazon, and it works fantastic. No issues, no problems. It mitigates the vibration off the tiller handle. Really, really nice. What else? The swim ladder. This is something else I got off Temu, just on a chance. I've seen people use tow ropes and stuff, ski tow ropes and stuff, to try to fashion to make for ladders getting out of the boat. It's just something cheap and effective. I've got it anchored pretty well. It's not really good for somebody of my weight. I weigh 210 pounds, so I wouldn't want to put that kind of strain on it. But for the kids and stuff, it's perfectly acceptable for them to help them climb in and out of the boat if we're at a sandbar or something. And it just, you know, you don't want it. You just fling it in here and it just disappears. You just tuck it under here with the life vest and bam, you'll never even see it. So it's a pretty cool setup, and I'm going to go ahead and get busy on my next set of cup holders, put back here, and figure out my next seat for that side as well. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys have any questions or any ideas on anything else you'd like to see me do to the boat, or you have any questions on any of these products or where I found them or how to find them, just go ahead and hit me up in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Till next time, guys, thanks for watching.